Introduction. Communication plays an essential role in any organization and its performance due to the fact that the given process determines how freely essential information flows from one person to another. This exchange of ideas and information allows people to increase their performance because outstanding communication directly affects the overall cooperation of a group. A proper communication is also critical due to the notion that it enables to convey a clear and non-distorted message, which will result in the desired outcome. One of the main communication issues in both spoken and written forms are overload, filtering, and distortion, whereas nonverbal communication is subtler but vital. Verbal communication. One of the most common problems in communication that distorts a piece of message is a line loss, which manifests itself in filtering, distortion, and overload. Distortion is considered to be a form of line loss, where the receiver does not correctly interpret the message. This becomes a major issue in large organizations where there is a multiple hierarchy level, and communication loses its initial meaning as it passes through the given layers. Filtering is another critical communication hindrance, but in this case, a message receiver only retains a fraction of the original message, which means that the next receiver will not have a complete set of valuable information. The biggest communication-related issue among many organizations is overload, where the increased complexity and the processing rate of information lead to the fact that there is too much information that requires attention. For example, a company can have much paperwork, which is a form of complex information, and its processing rate is slower than the others. It manifests in the overload, which can result in organizational instability due to the limitations in reading speed and individual capacity for information processing. The given issue can be prevented by properly setting up the paper flow and assigning an adequate amount of time to complete such tasks. In addition, multi-leveled hierarchical organizations can use modern technology to communicate the message directly to the end receiver without using intermediaries. Nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication is another major influencer of communication quality, which can either boost or hinder the information flow. One of the examples of this form of communication is a person's facial expression. The latter can show an individual's emotional background through muscle contractions, such as fear, disgust, or tension. Spoken communication, as a rule, is accompanied by nonverbal actions that help to understand and comprehend the speech flow. The effectiveness of any communication contacts is determined not only by how clear the interlocutor is to the words and other elements of verbal communication, but also the ability to correctly interpret visual information. It is stated that language is the most effective and productive tool for human communication, but it is primarily complemented by nonverbal communication. Along with language, there are a large number of communication methods that also serve as a means of communicating information, and scientists have combined these forms of communication with the concept of nonverbal communication. It is a side of communication, consisting of the exchange of information between individuals without the help of speech and language means, presented in any symbolic form. Conclusion. In conclusion, both verbal and nonverbal communication play an essential role in determining the overall communication quality in an organization. The primary hindrances of verbal communication are filtering, overload, and distortion. In addition, nonverbal communication can influence the quality of information flow by either boosting or limiting it. Nonverbal means of communication are expressed in clothing, hair, facial expressions, posture, and objects surrounding a person. Recognition and the concept of such behavior contribute to the achievement of the highest degree of mutual understanding. StudyCorgi.com has everything you need for successful studies. Writing tools, informative articles, and essay samples. Come check it out.